Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer 3 video. Today's video is going to be rather different. You see, I've been emailing someone back and forth who claims to have some information regarding Total War Warhammer 3. This person got in contact with me recently and I've asked what they've been willing to share. He claims he has an acquaintance that works in CA and has given him some information. Now, whether this is true or not is unknown, unfortunately, but it's still something rather interesting that we can discuss, and we'll have the emails on the screen as we go through them. Now, why they got in contact with me and not a larger YouTuber, I'm not sure. He claims in the email, which you'll see on the first one, that it's because I'm creating so much Total War content recently, but still we'll take this possible information with a pinch of salt and analyze through it. Just a heads up, I'll obviously be omitting this person's email and changing his name due to privacy concerns, but yeah, let's just jump right in, shall we? I received the first email from this person on Wednesday the 15th, and it goes as follows. Hello, I have an acquaintance who works at CA who has provided me with some details about the content they've been working on. The last few months I've been feeling starved off Total War Warhammer news, but you continue to produce content that somewhat rubs my itch. I don't have any details of a greater overview since in CA's workplace, different people work on different parts, and my friend does simply works with something graphics related. I have been provided with some small interesting details that they have been trying to implement, as well as confirmation that Kislev, Demons of Chaos, Chaos Dwarves and Ogres will be the races. I have not heard anything about Cafe or Nippon, but it seems that Dogs of War are a very likely DLC edition close to release. Last year, when I asked the most questions, they were working on spells for each Chaos God. I can provide some more details if you're curious, but I can also understand that it might seem sketchy. I'm very much looking forward to Total War Warhammer 3. Thank you for providing Warhammer content for when I'm bored. Best regards, and since we're omitting his name here, let's call you Gary. Yeah, Gary seems like a nice name. So with this email, this person gets in contact with and lets us know that apparently Kislev, Demons of Chaos, Chaos Dwarves and Ogres will be the 4 playable races at the start, with the Dogs of War being straight after, or possibly even closer, maybe the pre-order incentive. We've covered these races on the channel, and to be honest, it is very possible. I honestly think it's going to be a Chaos Undivided faction. They're an 8th edition army, the Ogre Kingdoms are the same, so those two are pretty much a definite. If we're going with the Ogre Kingdoms, then we'll have to have the Chaos Dwarves because they're so close. And lastly, we have Kislev, which, you know, whilst they were a 6th edition army, recently Games Workshop have announced that they are going to be getting a massive revamp in Warhammer the Old World, which is the continuation of Warhammer Fantasy in a certain sense, or the revival of it, better yet said. So it does look like that is possible to see Kislev as a playable race, considering that they're going to get new models, new lore and so on, which will flesh them out better and will be easier for Creative Assembly to actually adapt. Honestly, it makes sense to me, so naturally I kinda got interested and I responded. So I said, hi, glad to hear the channel is keeping you entertained, especially in this weird time of year. This sounds rather interesting, would you be willing to share some other information? I got a response a few hours later, which he said, sure, they had some issues creating the spells that they had to figure out, so perhaps a lot of things have changed since. They were working on the law of hedonism, which would of course represent Slaanesh. It seems that it would also be accessible to Dark Elves, which is kinda cool. Anyway, to make the law unique instead of just reskinning old spells and giving a unit leadership or something, they tried a lot of new things. Therefore, I really don't have any detail on actual final spells. Each Chaos God will be getting their Law of Magic, it's pretty tight though. The game is apparently going to be revealed at Gamescom, but there are reasons to believe it might be delayed a bit further. So let's just jump back in and start analysing here. The Law of Hedonism. It's not the official name for the Law of Slaanesh, however, given the fact that he mentioned the Dark Elves, it's very possible that they're changing the Law of Slaanesh to actually be usable by the Dark Elves too, and that would be with the Cult of Pleasure. They originally did worship Slaanesh, but there was a change of law and so on, so it's very possible that they've changed the name of the Law of Slaanesh to the Law of Hedonism so it could be used by other races, and yeah, this could make sense to me. This also makes me think that there might be a rework for the Dark Elves in Game 3. Morathi would need quite the heavy rework if she's going to be implemented in Game 3 with Slaaneshi laws of magic and possibly maybe Slaaneshi units. This goes back all the way to, I think, the 6th edition had a special Cult of Pleasure list. There's one little issue here, where each Chaos God will be getting their Law of Magic. So, yeah, that makes sense. You have the Law of Nurgle, the Law of Slaanesh, the Law of Tzeentch. Khorne does not have a Law of Magic, though. Khorne does not use magic whatsoever. But that could have just been a slight oversight. Now in regards to the reveal date, yes, now we know that Gamescom has been moved to a digital-only platform. However, this email came to me before this happened, so it could still be the case. This email was sent to me on April 15th, whilst Gamescom, I believe, made the announcement on the 17th? And if this supposed leaked information is actually true, it is still very possible that we'll see the reveal in August. For those not aware, the Gamescom dates are supposed to be during Tuesday the 25th of August to Saturday the 29th of August. My interest had already peaked there, so I replied to him, "Awesome, yeah, it may be delayed due to the pandemic thing, but we'll see. Do you mind if I make a video regarding this? People may be curious about the date. I'll block out your email and name to keep you anonymous if you'd like." Now, I'm not saying that I believe this person, I have no reason to believe this person, but I'm rather curious, and to be honest, I think that it would be a good discussion with you guys to see what you guys think about this. To which he replied, "Go ahead, just make sure that you take things with a pinch of salt, and I would like to stay anonymous." To which I assured him that I was going to hide the email and change his name so he didn't have to worry, and I asked him again if he had any other information he could provide. I didn't get a response until late on Saturday, but this is the information. I have some details which I'm hesitant to share. That's because they are so particular that I worry they might be linked back to me if the one who provided me with these details would view your video. That makes sense, honestly. The channel's getting a bit bigger and so on, and I'm getting a bit more reach, so it is very possible. But the information that he did provide was as follows. Some obvious information that I would like to confirm is that each of the 4 factions will have one unique school of magic, except the Demons of Chaos, who will have 4. So this is where I start to doubt it a little bit. If the races that were confirmed in this email were actually true, there would be less laws of magic. Yes, Kislev would have the law of ice, the Ogre Kingdoms would have the law of the Great Maw, the Chaos Dwarves would have the law of Hashut, but the Chaos Demons would only have 3, not 4 laws of magic. As established before, Khorne does not use magic. Instead, there was a weird thing in the tabletop that when you casted a spell, he'd throw a giant brass skull at you, which to be honest would be a cool thing to add in the game, but that's not really a spell. That is actually Khorne physically throwing a brass skull at you. Instead, the laws of magic were the law of Slaanesh, the law of Tzeentch, and the law of Nurgle. Here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. Demons of Chaos will have 1 legendary lord per Chaos God. I don't know. Every other race has started with 2 when they've been announced as a basic baseline race, not a lord pack. So it seems like a lot in regards to this. I get it makes sense thematically if you have 4 different gods and 1 lord for each god, but then that means that you'd have to have a very large roster to be able to thematically field armies for each god. Which we know that Creative Assembly usually omit quite a decent amount of units so they can actually produce them as DLC packs. Anyways, let's carry on. How the units of the Demons of Chaos will work, I do not know. We can also expect a lot of new systems from Magic, rather than using the current stats and features to create new spells. Okay, fair enough. We actually had more or less a confirmation of this in the Ask Me Anything, when members of Creative Assembly said that they were possibly looking at terrain features, arcane fulcrums and so on, which are rarities in Warhammer Fantasy Battle, to actually be implemented into the game. And then lastly he states, "From what I heard about one of the new races, we can also expect new interesting campaign features and economics. This is where I'm hesitant to disclose details." Fair enough, you don't want to go into too much in specifics, especially something that might actually be too specific and be linked back to you, as you stated before. But that's pretty much where our conversation ends. I replied to him naturally and I said, thank you for the information and have a good day. But that's pretty much it. I'm really not too sure on what to actually think of this. It could be true, it could be fake and so on. I'd like it to be true purely because of the 4 choices of the confirmed races, and obviously the possibility of seeing Dogs of War, which, I would really like to see. What do you guys think in regards to this? Do you think it could be true? I don't know, honestly. I'd like it to be true. I've spoken to a few people regarding this, and, they all say the same thing. They'd like it to be true, but they don't think it's going to be true. And yeah, to be honest, I completely agree with them. I'm not 100% too sure, so I want to see what you guys think here. We could start a bit of a discussion and so on. I mean, those 4 races seem like a very obvious core choice, but then there's a little bit of the Khorne using magic thing. That's what throws me off, And having 4 legendary lords for one race, but only 2 for others, I'm assuming. That's a bit strange too. Yeah, it makes sense for Chaos because, you know, they have so many options in regards to Legendary Lords that they could literally just keep making DLC packs and DLC packs. If you guys think that the Vampire counts have the most Lords and the most possible choices, you're completely wrong. It's the actual Demons of Chaos. I suppose once we start getting closer and closer to Total War Warhammer 3's reveal, there'll be many supposed leaks popping up everywhere. Some information could be true, some information could be fake, but that's all to be seen. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, I might suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various social media links such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team. Also in the description section below is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase with the link that we have in the description below also supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A special thank you to our patron Gibraltar LUSC for subscribing to us at our Fane level. Honestly, mate, is super cool. And a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. The channel has been on like some weird growth spurt recently. I don't understand why, but I'm kind of enjoying it. And it's super cool to be able to talk to so many Warhammer fans across the globe. Honestly, it's amazing. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and I shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.